Now at 7, ICE agents heading to airports to help TSA, but not everyone is on board here. Why the plan has some Oregonians feeling uneasy. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live from PDX.
Plus, airline executives preparing for the worst after they say the price of oil could stay high until 2027. Why you could soon be paying $7 for a gallon of gas at the pump. Next.
20 minutes is what I usually will say it takes me to get home. With like the regular commuter traffic, it took me an hour yesterday to get home.
Yeah, parts of I-5 in Washington still closed after a massive landslide. What's the holdup and the timeline here? KGW News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchick. Happy Monday, everyone. Rod Hill is standing by with a look at our weather. Chris McGinnis off this week, so you're holding down. Look at those beautiful cherry. Don't cover the cherry blossoms, Rod.
Oh, sorry. You're right. You're right, Matthew. That would be horrible. Aren't they pretty? Look at them. Our live Salem sky camera. Temperature 37 degrees. Partly sunny start. Just minutes away from the sun popping up at this point. Here's the downtown camera from the Wells Fargo building, and same scene, partly sunny skies, a little bit warmer, 41 out the door. One more camera. Already some pretty colors bouncing off of the Columbia River from the springs at the waterfront camera up in Vancouver. Closer to freezing, 34 degrees. Been looking for some light frosty spots. Haven't really found any. Yesterday we did have some frosty spots around. So to the bus stop we go. Of course, Oregon spring break, but Washington students getting back to it. It'll be about 50 at noon today. All dry, clouding over. High temperature around 59 when the kids get out of school. And that's your Monday weather.
Thank you, Rod. We start with breaking news overnight. 2 people are dead and dozens more are injured after an Air Canada plane collided with a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport in New York. 41 people, including passengers, crew, and fire personnel, were taken to the hospital after a plane struck a Port Authority fire truck on the runway around 11:40 p.m. The aircraft carrying 76 passengers and 4 crew members left the pilot and co-pilot dead. Some victims are seriously injured here, according to the Port Authority's executive director. The FAA issued a ground stop at LaGuardia until 11 a.m. our time, and the NTSB is investigating.
As another week begins without pay for TSA agents, travelers across the U.S. can expect to see more long lines. DHS reports that more than 400 TSA workers have quit since the partial government shutdown began. A Democratic bill to fund just TSA agents failed to get the Senate votes needed to advance on Saturday. That's left thousands working for more than a month without pay. That's resulted in a record number of workers calling in sick or just not showing up.
We're all hurting. Literally, checking accounts are wiped out. We haven't recovered from the last 2 that we've had before. My duty is still the same, but at the end, if I can't put food in my stomach, I can't keep a roof over my head. The people that I'm supposed to be taking care of are failing me.
Democrats vowed to withhold funding until Republicans agree to new reforms on ICE. Meanwhile, Republicans want DHS fully funded before any talks take place. For travelers, experts say check the website at your departing airport to monitor TSA security wait times.
ICE agents are expected to be deployed at airports with long lines today as Democrats and Republicans continue to spar over the Department of Homeland Security funding, which includes TSA workers. Sunrise
reporter Thomas Schultz is live at PDX this morning. Thomas, what have you seen out there this morning?
Well, guys, right now it's pretty calm. I mean, that usual morning rush has dissipated here at PDX this morning, and we haven't seen any ICE agents. We spoke to employees here who say they haven't seen any either. White House border czar Tom Homan says the administration will start the rollout of ICE agents at large airports with larger wait times. That comes as spring break begins today for many families in our area, and we've heard stories of hours-long wait times at airports across the country due to TSA agents either quitting or calling out. TSA workers have been working without pay for more than a month now, and at PDX there's mixed reaction to bringing ICE agents in to alleviate those long lines.
Whatever it takes to help everybody move around the country and do what they needed to do, business-wise and family-wise, that's a good move.
Well, that's not their job. I think if they can find a way to pay ICE, they should be able to find a way to pay our TSA agents that are trained to protect us and to make sure that we're traveling securely.
Homan, the White House's border czar, says ICE agents will not actually screen passengers. He adds agents will help TSA workers in areas that don't need specialized expertise. Again, we haven't seen any ICE agents here at PDX. And right behind us, as you can see, those lines are very quiet right now after that rush earlier this morning. Still, with spring break, they do expect 24,000 passengers to depart from PDX today. Matthew, China.
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live from PDX this morning. Thank you, Thomas. Meantime, up in Washington, CTAC says as of now, operations remain normal despite the partial shutdown. In response to the president's plan to send ICE to help TSA, Washington Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal calls this a, quote, thinly veiled attempt to intimidate people during travel. A veteran aviation journalist noted that the two rules are very different.
And TSA agents are there to de-escalate any sort of a stressful situation. I have not seen ICE operate very effectively in a de-escalation mode, and that's a major concern.
Behind the scenes, many officers are now relying on community support just to get by. $13,000 in food and essentials have been donated to federal workers at SeaTac, including gas and grocery gift cards. Meanwhile, the global economy is feeling the impact of the war in Iran.
Yeah, the CEO of United Airlines says oil could reach $175 a barrel. Gas prices across the country have risen by nearly $1 since the war with Iran began. In an effort to ease prices, the Trump administration recently announced that the U.S. will allow for the limited sale of previously sanctioned Iranian oil. Now, this comes as the cost of U.S. crude sits just below $100 a barrel. This is the president on Friday.
Expected worse, actually. I thought that oil prices would go much higher.
But that's what business leaders say they're worried about. United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby writing in a memo to employees, quote, our plans assume oil goes to $175 a barrel and doesn't get back down to $100 a barrel until the end of 2027.
Transportation is how we move goods everywhere in the country. So that will be passed on. If you get on a plane, you're going to see much higher airfare. Think about how we're going to be trucking goods across the country. It goes beyond simply what you put in your car. It's going to affect everything regarding transportation.
That commodity strategist says if the war drags on, gas prices in the U.S., get this, could reach $7 a gallon. The highest recorded national average was just over $5 in 2022. Right now, the national average sits at $3.95 a gallon, though here in Oregon, that price has gone up to $4.84. That's up 36 cents just from last week. And in Washington, the average is $5.27. That's also up from last week's average of $4.92.
For the next 3 months, expect construction in Portland's Rose Quarter. ODOT closed off Northeast Loy Boulevard in both directions between 1st and Oregon Street yesterday. There will also be occasional overnight closures in one southbound lane of I-5 in that same area starting tonight. ODOT says crews are repairing both roadways while conducting foundation work and earthquake readiness upgrades. Pedestrians and bicyclists can still pass through the area.
Well, it's 7:08 and time to get back over to Rod for a look at the forecast and a nice, calm, quiet morning, Rod.
Yes, and I think this morning will be the brightest part of the day. Eventually, these high clouds you can already see from our Seaside Live camera will be coming in and thickening up, especially at the coast. But for now, there's a look at, this is one of the bays just south of downtown Seaside, really pretty shot. And it's freezing, 31 degrees. Interesting, it's 31 in Seaside. It's 35 up at Timberline this morning, partly cloudy skies. Past level temperatures, Government Camp getting up to about 50 today. And here are the temperatures in the valleys. So far, not seeing much in the way of freezing numbers, although Battleground's down to 33, Hillsboro 36, Happy Valley 36, Wilsonville 39, Salem 37. So we're mostly now in the upper 30s, it looks like, 38 Aurora and Canby. A dry day completely. And if you are traveling east or if you're watching us from Central and Eastern Oregon, partly to mostly sunny skies. Your highs will be back up in the 60s. Baker City 62, Bend 65. Clouds eventually thickening into the west side of our state. Low 50s at the beach, and then anywhere from about 55 to 60, depending on what the clouds do here in the Willamette Valley. I have Portland at 59. So tomorrow's the wet day. We get up early in the morning, probably still dry. Then rain develops during the morning, steady rain much of the afternoon, and then Wednesday showers to follow. Right now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we get back to dry weather and really pretty typical temperatures this time around for spring break. And outside of tomorrow and Wednesday, pretty good looking forecast for your outdoor activities. Back to you.
Thank you, Ron. The KGW Great Food Drive is underway. Help us reach our goal of 1 million meals for local families. We've provided nearly 775,000 meals so far, and one way you can donate is by going online to kgw.com/food drive to make a cash donation. And it is a great week to donate because all week long, Mr. Plywood is matching all donations up to $5,000. We want to thank local Toyota dealers, Pacific Office Automation, Rivermark Community Credit Union, and Safeway for supporting this year's food drive.
Still to come on Sunrise, thousands in Hawaii recovering after historic floods forced evacuations and rescues. We'll have the latest coming up. Plus, parts of I-5 in Washington still closed after a massive landslide, while cleanup crews say it could take a little bit longer than expected to get back open. Don't go anywhere. Sunrise continues right after this.
I'm Matthew Herchick, new morning anchor at KGW. I'm a huge sports fan, and I know I might be from the Buckeye State, but I'm excited to explore what the Rose City has to offer. I want to make sure you're prepared for the day, whether it's bringing you breaking news or sharing those inspirational stories that make you smile. We've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Portland's #1 streaming newscast, Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
In Hawaii, thousands are recovering after receiving record rainfall that prompted mass rescues and evacuations. Hawaii's National Guard has been helping first responders and search and recovery efforts after flash floods hit Oahu's North Shore over the weekend. More than 200 people have been rescued so far. One man helped out by rescuing a man and his dog in chest-deep floodwaters. He says in all, he and his crew rescued about 60 people.
People were on their roofs yelling for help, and we came together and we loaded them in and made sure everybody was safe. It was crazy.
Today, evacuation orders have been lifted and residents have been allowed back into the area to check on their homes. Now, the storm is estimated to have caused about $1 billion in damage.
Meanwhile, back here in the Pacific Northwest, part of I-5 in northern Washington remains closed because of a massive landslide.
Crews have been working to try and clear the mess, but as Christian Balderas reports, there's no telling when it will reopen.
This is the furthest you can travel northbound on I-5 because just outside of Bellingham,
I was so surprised. It's insane. It looks crazy.
A massive landslide has buried part of the interstate.
It's about 250 feet wide, about 65 feet tall. we're estimating more than 2,000 cubic yards of material.
WashDOT says it's still moving.
Very large rocks are part of it, some of them the size of a city bus. In fact, there's one city bus out there that's balancing 2 or 3 rocks that look about the size of a Chevy pickup.
A crew has begun assessing the site and clearing what they can.
We're working as quickly as we possibly can.
Meanwhile, it's bumper to bumper as vehicles now have to exit onto Samish Highway.
It is only 10 minutes, but every single car has to come off the highway, and we have a single lane road going south and north.
It's heavily used by people accessing a popular mountain biking trail.
Super popular. People from all around the U.S., even from Canada, come out here all the time.
Bicyclists have to cross incoming traffic to get there, and now there's freight trucks to look out for.
It's stressful, and it's an extra stress on us, on the roads, and certainly on the bikers.
Some drivers are choosing to take a pit stop at this shop. Outpost sells bike gear and food.
Yesterday we were definitely playing our part of like a little truck stop. It was, people had been in traffic for an hour, some people at most, 30, 40 minutes.
For Maddie Young, who works here, business has been busy. But now she has a long commute home after work.
20 minutes is what I usually will say it takes me to get home with like the regular commuter traffic. It took me an hour yesterday to get home.
She's hoping it will all be over by the end of the week.
I'll be raging over it for sure. I'll be out there with a shovel myself. I'm kidding.
And again, WashDOT says that as of right now, there is no estimated timeline, but said that they should have an update by midweek.
She's going to need more than a shovel to move those boulders.
Oh, yes. No, we don't see landslides of that magnitude over our roads that often.
Yeah.
No.
Significant for sure.
I do want to take you back to the Hawaii story and the fact that the big island of Hawaii, which is the one right here, it's a southern island of the chain, still under a flood watch, and convective heavy thunderstorms in this batch of clouds expected to hit the island. So those problems continue today. And you see this fetch of moisture. It's actually the fetch of moisture that's pushing clouds into our area. Now, there's a low back here, and we will get our wettest day of the week tomorrow. But for today, this is just pushing mid to high level clouds in. That probably will eventually thicken up. So we get some morning sun, then we cloud over for the most part. No wind, and then here comes the rain tomorrow morning right off the bat hitting the coast. Now this is updated. If you watched our show last hour and you're watching us here in the 7 o'clock hour, the last hour the same model only showed rain along the coast early in the morning, but now it shows rain pushing up in Longview. So it sped up the timeline, and then going into the afternoon, here we are with what is a steady rain band that takes much of the afternoon to push through. This modeling still shows that we're pretty dry behind that first front Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And then Wednesday afternoon, here comes the second front with shower activity associated with that. The first wave of moisture tomorrow will be all rain at pass level. Snow level tomorrow are now about 6,000 feet. And there could be some snow at pass level Wednesday, but probably not a whole lot. How much moisture are we talking about? Upwards of about 1/2 of an inch of rain up and down I-5, and upwards of about 3/4 of an inch of rain looks possible along the coast. Not a lot once you get east of the Cascades with these particular two fronts coming in tomorrow and Wednesday. There's the Astoria-Meckler Bridge. Pretty early morning, partly sunny sky from our Astoria column camera. 34 is the number. The coast has been cooler than the valley. Here's Snoqualmie Casino Resort. You can see the clouds there, so it's a little bit warmer down in Lincoln City, 41 degrees, but expected to stay dry. Portland, the same as Lincoln City. Salem, 37, down Eugene, 35. Everybody's dry, so no weather-related issues this morning. 30 over in Bend. Coast forecast on this Monday of Oregon's spring break, low to mid-50s expected. Clouding over for areas that are getting some early morning sunshine. For the valley, partly sunny to becoming cloudy. We get up to about 60. This shows Salem at 59. I've got Portland also at 59. The rain we showed you tomorrow, the showers Wednesday, and then a dry Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Really, these temperatures are pretty close to seasonal norms. You know, dry days getting up to 60 or better, and rainy days holding in the 50s. I've got a shower chance this coming Sunday, but just a little something I'm watching. Really pretty nice week, except for tomorrow into Wednesday. Back to you.
Thank you, Rod. 7 weeks without answers. Coming up on Sunrise, the family's heartbreaking plea to help bring Nancy Guthrie home. Sunrise continues after this.
Hi, I'm Christine Panawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
New this morning, President Trump has announced that he will be holding off on strikes against Iranian power plants and energy sites for 5 days. In a social media post, the president cited what he called very good and productive discussions over the weekend about ending the war in Iran. He said those talks will continue through the week, and the pause in military actions depends on their progress. But according to Iranian state media, Tehran denies any ongoing talks with Washington. Trump had previously threatened military action if Iran did not reopen the Strait of Hormuz by later today.
Cuba's national power grid has collapsed for the third time this month, once again leaving around 10 million people in the dark. Cuba's aging grid has eroded in recent years, but the communist government also blames its power problems on the U.S. oil blockade. President Trump has warned of tariffs on any country that sells or gives oil to Cuba. The Trump administration is demanding Cuba release political prisoners and is calling for new Cuban leaders. Trump has also raised the possibility of a friendly takeover of Cuba.
There's a new legal battle at the Supreme Court that targets mail-in voting rules. So justices will hear arguments today about the federal legalities of mail-in voting, particularly the practice by some states of counting mail ballots that arrive at election offices after Election Day. President Trump is pushing justices to limit the mail-in system. The court's final decision is expected by the start of summer.
President Trump's nomination of Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin to lead the Department of Homeland Security is moving closer to confirmation. The Senate voted 54-37 to advance the nomination, with a final vote expected later today. If confirmed, Mullin would replace Secretary Kristi Noem, who was fired on March 5th.
Well, extreme heat at Luke Air Force Base in Arizona left dozens suffering from heat-related illnesses during an air show over the weekend. Temperatures reached 105 degrees with more than 130 people treated and over 20 taken to the hospital yesterday. Conditions even worse on Saturday when more than 400 people required medical attention. The intense heat eventually forced organizers to end the show early for safety reasons. Well, it's been 7 weeks now since the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie.
The family released a new statement over the weekend asking for renewed attention on the case, focusing on the Tucson community where Nancy was abducted. NBC's Dana Griffin has the latest.
7 agonizing weeks since Savannah's mom, Nancy Guthrie, was taken in the middle of the night from her Tucson home. Savannah posting, "I believe," a nod to her family's call for renewed attention in the puzzling case, pleading with Nancy's Tucson neighbors to please consult camera footage, journal notes, text messages, observations, or conversations that in retrospect may hold significance. No detail is too small. The statement airing exclusively in a special report on Nancy's disappearance by our NBC affiliate KVOA News 4 Tucson.
We are deeply grateful for the outpouring from neighbors, friends, and the people of Tucson.
The family adding, "We hope people search their memories, especially around the key timelines of January 31st and the early morning hours of February 1st, as well as the late evening of January 11th.
Please be the light."
This investigation has amassed at least 40,000 leads. The biggest clue so far, this chilling video showing an armed, masked man at Nancy's home the night she was abducted.
And there were some concerns with what they were seeing at the scene.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has told NBC News they're constantly analyzing evidence. As the family waits for answers, yellow flowers and ribbons dot the desert community, a show of support amid an unthinkable darkness. Savannah and her family saying that without answers, we cannot grieve, we can only ache and wonder. We want to celebrate her beautiful and courageous life, but we cannot do that until she is brought to a final place of rest. Someone in the southern Arizona community may hold the key that finally brings Nancy home. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
And coming up in our next half hour, a shooting at an event on Saturday sends 3 teens in Hillsborough to the hospital. The latest coming up in our top story. Plus, Thomas Schultz with a look at a new survey into preschool. Why preschool enrollment is out of reach for many families, coming up in the live report at Sunrise. Streaming live at 7 continues right after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, a morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community,
or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between.
We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Good morning on a Monday. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. A reminder, this is the Monday of Oregon spring break, so you should expect traffic patterns, etc., to be a little different than normal this week. Here's a live camera from the Vancouver, the Springs of the waterfronts. One of our cooler valley low temperatures, 34 degrees is the number. I do have frost at 1,500 feet up in Welch's. That's the Mount Hood, Oregon Resort Golf Course. So don't be shocked if you see a touch of light frost around. Temperature is 50 at noon and 58 at 5 p.m. Our 7-day forecast, all dry today, probably eventually clouding over. And then tomorrow is the wet day of the week with likely rain, showers on Wednesday, all dry on Thursday.
Good morning. We are taking a live look from our Vancouver waterfront sky cam. Looks like it's a
Decent morning.
Decent morning. Decent
little
start
cloud cover there
on your Monday. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor to starting your starting your week off. It's it's Monday.
There's some good.
I was gonna say, you don't.
Not so great.
I can tell China doesn't know what to make of today. It's a decent day.
Yeah.
It exists.
It's here.
Yeah. So that's all.
Well, now I'm depressed. I was in a good mood, but you're right. It's Monday. Here we are.
But you work with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Monday. He has to work with us.
Oh, good grief. Here's a look at our sky camera. Which one? We're going up the mountain. Monday of spring break, and we've got partly cloudy skies up on the hill. It's actually warmer up on Mount Hood than it is at the coast. 36 at Timberline. We have freezing temperatures along the coast this morning. Here's our beautiful cherry blossoms in front of the state capitol. You can tell it's kind of partly sunny up top. 37 is the number. And here's our planner moving forward. 41 at 7, 50 degrees at noon. We'll probably cloud over enough that we stay just shy of 60. I have our high today at 58, 59 degrees. Tomorrow is the wettest day of the week, and we'll have that Tuesday forecast for you coming up. But for now, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rob. The 3 teens are recovering this morning after being shot during an event in Hillsborough over the weekend. This happened Saturday night at Northwest Events and Environments. That's on Northeast Century Boulevard. Officers took care of the victims until they were taken to the hospital. All of them are expected to survive. And police are still looking for the shooter or shooters and are asking any witnesses to reach out and share what they know.
The Max Green Line at Clackamas Town Center has returned to normal service after it was shut down following reports of a shooting Saturday night. This happened just before 8 o'clock. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says no injuries were reported and there is no danger to the public. We've reached out to the Sheriff's Office for more information. They say they hope to have an update later today.
In Wilsonville, investigators are trying to figure out what started a fire that tore through a home on Saturday morning. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue say the fire likely started outside, then spread inside the home on Canyon Creek Road. Paramedics rushed a dog to an emergency vet. No one else was in the home at the time and no people were hurt.
A fire in Dumalo that destroyed a shop and several vehicles was ruled accidental. Investigators say fuel leak and backfire from a vehicle sparked the blaze Friday night on 76th Street. The shop, 2 classic cars and a scooter were lost, and a trailer was also damaged. The damage is estimated at $220,000. Officials urge clearing vegetation ahead of wildfire season.
In Southeast Oregon, there's a boil water order in place for the city of Ontario. Malheur County Emergency Management says the city's water distribution system suffered a pump failure, dropping system pressure below safe levels. People in Ontario need to boil tap water for 1 minute before drinking, cooking, cleaning, or making ice. That's until tests show the water is safe.
We are just over a month out from the May 19th primary election, and one of the big ticket items on the ballot is the governor's race. Jay Coulter talked with 2 Republican candidates hoping to become the next governor.
The cost to replace the I-5 bridge has more than doubled, now expected to cost nearly $15 billion. Two-time Republican candidate for governor and former Portland trailblazer Chris Dudley says the bridge was a topic of discussion when he last ran in 2010.
We have to have leadership that says we've got to get this done, we've got to focus on it, we have to be realistic, and we have to have a plan to get it done. And it's a complete lack of leadership where literally, I was talking about this 16 years ago, that we needed to get on it and get it done. And here we are, and the cost has gone up by 5-fold, and we're no further along.
Oregon State Senator Christine Drazen says the project has been bogged down by unnecessary additions. The current bridge plan includes a light rail extension, bike paths, and 3 new bridges to Hayden Island from the Oregon side.
We need a bridge that functions. We need a bridge that addresses capacity for the next 100 years. And we do not need all the bells and whistles and everything that they've attached to that bridge. They're trying to achieve too many competing objectives. We need to build a bridge.
Another issue we discussed, the $50 million budget deficit Portland Public Schools is facing. Just this past week, teachers approved a proposal to cut 3 school days, which Dudley says isn't fair to students.
Too often the kids are the victims of these budget budget impasses, and we have to focus on how are we better serving our kids? How are our kids getting the education that they deserve? Because right now we're failing our kids, and that's not acceptable.
Drazen says there needs to be a crackdown on absenteeism, especially as Oregon elementary students have some of the worst test scores in the country.
My legislation would restore a focus on reading in the 3rd grade. It would restore our graduation requirements, and it would allow teachers to be able to have some control in their classrooms again so that they can focus on learning.
Jake Holter, KGW News.
Meanwhile, a new survey shows many Oregon kids still don't have adequate access to preschool, even as the state has boosted its spending.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us now. So Thomas, what else did this survey say?
Yeah, well, guys, the numbers here are honestly pretty jarring. 70% of 4-year-olds are not enrolled in statewide preschool. 90% of 3-year-olds aren't either. Now, they could be in private preschool, but as we all know, that can get really expensive really quickly. So school districts have tried to step in to fill the gap since demand is through the roof. But for many kids, they just aren't going to preschool at all. There's a few reasons for this. The biggest is that there's just not enough available programs. Preschool is also expensive to operate, and Oregon faces both a shortage of educators and rising costs. It's an especially big problem in rural areas. The survey was conducted by the Children's Institute, an organization focused on childhood policy. Researchers say the state needs to take a bigger role to help out.
Oregon, coming off this last legislative session, is not moving in the right direction in terms of investment in early learning.
Marina Merrill is the director of research with the Children's Institute. She says preschool makes a big difference for all kids, especially children from lower income families. And get this, Oregon is spending more on preschool. In 2023-24, they spent $230 million statewide. That's a $40 million uptick from the year before. Still, Merrill says the state needs to be spending billions of dollars annually to ensure every child gets the adequate preschool education they need. Matthew, China.
Thomas Schultz reporting live. Thomas, thank you very much. Meanwhile, Oaks Park is now officially open for the season. The iconic Oregon amusement park features dozens of rides, carnival games, and the oldest roller skating rink in the country at 120 years old.
This is one of the, the best time of year. Not only do we get to welcome our friends and our neighbors back into the park, the energy comes back in. Working in this industry, there's nothing you love more than the laughter families enjoy.
The park is open every day from noon to 5 p.m. through the end of spring break. After that, the park will be open on weekends and holidays throughout the summer. I could see Rod doing some roller skating.
I can't.
I absolutely can.
Oh.
Well, we did a story out there some years back, and I can stop on roller skates. On ice skates, I can't stop. I have to run into the wall.
There's got to be some transferable skills there, I imagine.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I will tell you this, though, fun nugget. My mom and dad met at a roller skating rink. That was their first date, where my dad met my mom and asked her out, and then the first date was going back to that same roller rink.
Oh, adorable.
That's why I'm here. As I look at the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the house, partly sunny skies as we look across the Columbia River there, and right around freezing, 33 degrees, another light wind morning out in the Gorge. And you can see the flag not moving really along the Willamette River in downtown Portland. We're looking off to the east of Mount Hood, of course. Partly sunny skies, 41 degrees. These mid to high level clouds that we have will continue to roll in today, so eventually clouding over. I thought we'd have some light frost this morning, not really seeing much. We did have some light frost yesterday. So far, Sandy 34s. You may have some frost around, and Battleground the same. Your air temperature is at 33. Estacada is now freezing, 32. So there you go. Down in Albany, it is 38 degrees. Good looking Monday. We will be all dry, just clouding up here on the west side. So low 50s at the coast today, and most of us in the valley near 60 to staying below, but you get sunshine in central and eastern Oregon, and most of you will see high temperatures up into the 60s. So the headline this week is tomorrow. We have rain developing in the morning, steady widespread rain falling pretty much all afternoon. So it's a rainy day, 56 degrees. And then periods of rain or numerous showers on Wednesday with a second front coming in After that, we're back to dry, and it looks like really nice weather going into the upcoming weekend. I'm watching a shower threat on Sunday. That may or may not come true. That's your update.
Thank you, Rod.
Whoa! Did y'all see that?
Houston, we have a problem. Still to come on Sunrise, a meteor crash landing into the home of a woman in Houston, Texas. Why she says she really doesn't mind. Coming up when Sunrise continues right after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Take a look at this video of a meteor streaking across the Texas sky on Saturday.
Yeah, several residents in the Houston area captured video of the moment on dashboard and doorbell camera. But one woman got something even more rare when a piece of the space rock ended up in her home. NBC's Jesse Kirsch reports.
Whoa!
From this highway,
Did y'all see that?
to the baseball diamond, Houston is having a stellar weekend.
It's going to be an explosion. The meteorite or missile fell out of the sky.
Turns out the commotion was caused by a meteor streaking across the sky Saturday afternoon. NASA says the fireball was 3 feet wide, weighed about a ton, and flew at 35,000 miles per hour.
That's where it came in at.
Sherry James says she heard a loud boom and found this chunk of rock in her daughter's bedroom.
Is that a meteor? I was scared. I didn't know what it was.
James says the roughly baseball-sized rock ripped through her roof, then the attic, before bouncing off the floor. She called the fire department, which came to check it out.
When you look at this piece of rock, it immediately looks like it's from outer space.
It just looked like a rock, and ain't no rocks got no business falling out the sky unless they're a meteor.
Now James will need to fix up her roof, but she says that's okay.
It's just a one-in-a-lifetime kind of thing, so I figured I probably had a better chance winning the lottery than a meteorite coming through my house, but the meteor came first, so.
Perhaps the lottery's coming next to help her pay for the roof repair. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
Healthier Together, sponsored by Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oregon.
Well, spring is officially here, and as the weather starts to warm up, you might want to start exercising outside more.
That's right, but as Christine Pitawanich found, you'll want to be cautious when starting a new workout plan.
Yeah, when the weather gets nicer, so many of us get back outside, right? Possibly doing workouts we haven't consistently done since the previous year, and that can lead to injuries. Dr. Jacqueline Brady, the lead team physician for the Portland Fire and the Portland Thorns, says this is the time of year that overuse injuries tend to pop up, with people going too hard too soon. One way to avoid injury is doing an active warm-up, where you're moving your body before you jump into exercise. And she says if you're weightlifting, maybe think about warming up with lighter weights or even doing your body weight. Dr. Brady says another thing, understanding good pain versus bad pain.
And I think a good rule of thumb is it changing your form? Are you starting to lose your mechanics and, dip your knee under your hip or something with jumping and landing, or starting to sort of be asymmetrical with that bench press or push up? If that's the case, it's probably worth backing off and coming back another day.
Brady says if one side hurts, but you've been working both sides, it involves swelling, or if the pain is unlike the pain or soreness you typically feel with harder workouts, it may be worth a visit to the physical therapist. Christine Pedawanich, KGW News.
You can find more Healthier Together stories online at kgw.com/healthiertogether.
I worked both sides over the weekend. I mowed the backyard and the front yard. That's working both sides.
Did you stretch at all?
I thought you were going to say you were working both sides.
Yeah.
The backyard, the front yard. My grass, good grief. I mowed it a week ago, and with the rain that we had and the warm weather, it was like that flipping high in the backyard.
I bet.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
but it's bright green, though.
You're lucky I'm here today, man. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. All right.
One of the meteorologists has to show up.
Here's a look at our satellite picture. It is mowing season. We've got the clouds running up into our area. These clouds will be thickening during the day ahead of a weather system that will bring us rain tomorrow. So kind of a partly sunny, becoming cloudy day. No chance of any rain anywhere until we get to tomorrow morning. And here we go, right off the bat, Tillamook, Astoria, Longview, and actually nearing Portland at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you're going to be up early tomorrow morning, some dry time. Otherwise, here comes the rain. And then certainly late morning into the noon hour, we get into the main widespread steady rain band. And all the yellow colors means it could really be coming down at times. This looks to be steady rain for a good 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours tomorrow. This is 6 p.m. with the rain starting to move out, and then there's not much overnight. This is Wednesday morning, not much. And then the afternoon showers picking up. There's a secondary front. One comes in tomorrow evening. That was that first rain band clearing out in the evening. There's a secondary front that comes in tomorrow afternoon. There it is along the coast. And then we'll get that moving through the valley. And it's the second front that drops snow levels. So tomorrow for travel, it will just be rain over the Cascade Passes. Snow level looks to be at about 6,000 feet tomorrow. And then coming down to near pass level on Wednesday. So certainly on Wednesday, just check conditions before you go. Get an updated forecast if you're going to be traveling over the Cascades. We've got rain totals that we expect anywhere from, well, I think about 4/10 to a half of an inch of rain in Portland. This shows 66 100s up in Kelso, and could be upwards of about 3/4 of an inch of rain along the coast. This system does not throw much moisture east of the Cascades, as you can tell by the map. We'll be watching wind tomorrow. Again, the front comes through in the evening, so afternoon into early evening winds picking up along the coast. Some of the data is suggesting there could be 40 to 50 mile per hour winds at the headlands along the coast tomorrow. That would not be enough for a wind advisory, but certainly noticeable. This shows 37, 38 mile per hour winds from the south at early afternoon. And notice 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts in the valley. Certainly if you live at 1,000 feet tomorrow, you should expect a period of some noticeably gusty winds. Rose City camera, kind of partly sunny to mostly cloudy out of the gate this morning. We're at 41 degrees in Portland, 37 in Salem, 33 out in the Dalles, and 23 is the temperature in Baker City. 7-day forecast, here we go, 59 today, partly sunny to becoming cloudy. The rain tomorrow, the showers mainly afternoon on Wednesday, and then we get into some dry time Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Really nice spring weather. Watching a shower threat on Sunday, and that is your update.
Beginning today, travelers may see ICE agents alongside TSA agents trying to move along those massively long airport security lines. I'm Alice Barr in Washington with the latest details coming up.
I'm David Mulco, the evening anchor at KGW. Though when I'm not working, I like to spend as much time as possible out here in nature. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. You see, what happens here affects us all. And that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to talk about it, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
President Trump says ICE agents will start backing up TSA agents today in an effort to speed up airport security lines.
TSA wait times continue to take several hours at many busy airports as the partial government shutdown continues to drag on. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Beginning today at airports across the country, agents in a different uniform set to greet travelers inching through crowded security lines.
Oh, I don't know, a couple of thousand people on right now.
President Trump announced on social media ICE agents would come in to help TSA. His border czar, Tom Homan, saying they would take on tasks like securing exits and checking IDs.
Well, ICE isn't trained in x-rays and look at x-rays, see if there's, is something dangerous in that luggage. Well, no kidding, and we're not going to be doing that.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy suggested otherwise.
TSA agents are law enforcement. They know how to pat people down. They know how to run the x-ray machines because they are, again, under Homeland Security with TSA.
Homan said details were being worked out just yesterday.
Anything to get things going.
As some travelers raise concerns.
Putting ICE in there just, to me, elevates tensions unnecessarily.
Funding to the Department of Homeland Security has been cut off for more than a month, with Democrats pushing for changes to immigration enforcement operations. DHS says more than 400 TSA officers have quit since the shutdown began. Thousands more calling out as they miss paychecks again.
Checking accounts are wiped out. We haven't recovered from the last two that we've had before.
While the two political parties point fingers, TSA and travelers paying the price, with lines like here in New Orleans snaking to the parking lot. While Republicans blame Democrats for the funding stalemate, Democrats are pushing a separate bill to fund TSA and other agencies not related to immigration enforcement. Adding to the uncertainty, President Trump posted again, pressing Republicans not to make a deal on DHS unless Democrats agree to back the Save America Act aimed at stiffening voter ID laws. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And Elon Musk has said that he wants to pay the salaries of TSA employees. He posted this message on X over the weekend saying, quote, "I would like to offer to pay the salaries of TSA personnel during this funding impasse that is negatively affecting the lives of so many Americans at airports throughout the country."
At Portland's Jewish Community Center, people gathered to celebrate the Iranian New Year, which also marks the start of spring. One of the organizers tells us it's an especially important tradition because it's deeply rooted to Iranian and Persian culture.
We would like to gather all Iranians and non-Iranians friends to introduce our traditions and our culture and to show them that how different the actual Iranian people are from this Islamic dictatorship. And we are people of peace and love.
She says while she's not exactly in favor of the war, she considers it a war against the Iranian government, not its people.
Well, it's been more than 50 years in the making, but the Crown Point Country Museum is now open. It's located along the historic Columbia River Highway in Corbett. There was a huge crowd for the grand opening. People went to check out hundreds of artifacts, some of which were on display for the first time in history, and some were brought to the area via the original Oregon Trail. The museum's mission is to share the history of the Columbia River Gorge.
They have part of this in their heart, and they can carry that with them the rest of their life, knowing that they helped build this thing for our community.
Most of our artifacts, the baskets and things are about gone. The wood is almost gone, but the stones tell the story since the time of the creation, when we were created in this land and given the voice of this land, and that is our law.
The local historical society helped create this museum on the site of an old auto camp where travelers stayed before the time of motels and hotels.
Well, coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with more of your cute pets. We're celebrating National Puppy Day, and we've been showing off your pups from across the state.
That's right. We also introduce you to some puppies looking for a home here in Oregon.